Maximum warp.
Hello, hello. How's it going, y'all? Hey, Lost Sleep Games. Hey, No Jewel with the maximum warp. Y'all heard the maximum warp, right? I think I fixed the... Our sound effects were not working yesterday. I think they're working again today. I guess I could test that.
Your logic was impeccable, Captain.
Amazing. You're early or the stream is late, Arneo. It could be both. It could be both.
Most illogical.
All right. How's it going? Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Digital Iliad. We're working on some FTL-like games in Godot. I realize I'm straining credulity by calling Lo-Fi Flyby an FTL-like game. But you know what? I'm going to keep doing it. Technically, Lo-Fi Flyby is an FTL light game, but I would say it's a stepping stone on our way to building an actual proper FTL-like game. So you know what? I'm going to just let myself have that one. And we're going to draft some pixels today. That's what I said we were going to do. I think I've settled on this layout for this approximate layout for the catwalk, or the second story catwalk. I think we'll draft out the railings. Honestly, I need 2 layers for this, huh? I'm gonna get rid of the word interior because it doesn't make sense for that. We'll say upper catwalk back. And we'll make another layer in front for the foreground. That's gonna be, you know, kind of hard, but we're gonna manage. How's everyone doing today? Oh yeah, Godot 4.6.3 dropped. Which is good news, everyone. But it's just a maintenance release, so I don't think we're going to really look at it too closely. But it's out. Get yourself upgraded. They fixed, I think they said something like 80 regression errors or bugs or something. 86 fixes. Pretty good. They're still fixing tile map, which is crazy. Tile map is like very deprecated. For C#, prevent source generators from becoming a transitive dependency. Okay. Crazy. Could see that. I should learn how to make source generators someday. It would certainly help with my ECS boilerplate. All users are encouraged to upgrade to 4.6.3. Get on it. Hey, all right, LSG. Arneo, it's hot out. You don't want to co-work. Yeah, you shall. Co-working is mandatory. Co-working will continue until morale improves. Yeah, go get on that. LSG, you're doing good. My advice, I assume my advice restreaming was spot on. At 2 hours on the dot, yesterday you had your first active chatter show up. That stretched the stream all the way to 4 hours. Yeah, I'm telling you, it takes 2 hours for people to notice that you're streaming. It's crazy. That's not an insight I had. that was passed down to me by streamers of yore, and I pass it down to you. But yeah, I popped into your stream for a little bit. I was just lurking, doing something else, but you were sounding good. It seemed like you were working. Cool stuff. So I'll say hi next time I pop in. Audio was all right. It was okay. I don't think I was listening very carefully. But yeah, that's the thing to be keeping in mind, and especially for your first few streams. Trying to dial it, because once you dial it in, as long as nothing changes, you really don't have to worry about it. But yeah, it's like, how loud is your music? How loud is your microphone? How loud are they to each other? Does your music duck out when you start speaking? Like, stuff like that. I think I have a slight audio duck. Hopefully it's not too jarring, but stuff like that. Yeah, it's good to be paranoid about audio at first. Some people continue to be paranoid about it forever. Some people will be like changing the latency because they'll think their audio is getting desynced from various sources, and it's like you can go way crazy on that. So we're gonna put in our railings. I'm not sure whether I want to do the single railing like this or the double railing like this. Why was I not gonna do the double railing? I think it had to do with terminating the railing. I think I want to do the double railing, or the single railing and one on each end, not this, like, the double spaced railing. That's what I should call it. I think I want to do the double spaced railing for this one, but let's focus on the ground first, which is going to be a lot of very nitpicky erasures to start. But yeah, we're just going to chill today, work on small art stuff. But yeah, I'm glad you had a good stream. Keep it up. Yeah, it's a muscle. You'll just build it. Just build it up. You'll be doing 12-hour game jam streams in no time. No, I actually stopped doing that. I did that, I think, my first couple of jams, and then I realized that, like, it was better to keep it to, like, 6 hours or something. 6 to 8. Hey, no, Jewel, you're going through job postings today. On a whim, you applied for making a 1960s trailer about a game dev tool. Oh, a 60-second trailer. I was like, a 1960s trailer. I was like, I thought you were making, like, something, like a period piece trailer. No, a 60-second trailer about a game dev tool, because that's kind of what you do for your stuff. It seems like a fun experience to do for someone else. Yeah, that sounds great. Never do for free something that someone else will pay you for. How's it going, Sapphire? I see you. Did I mess this up royally somehow? I did. Well, this one's in entirely the wrong place. That's nice for me. Jesus, okay. Redo this one. How important would you say music is for a first stream? I would say it's not. I actually say that there's a school of thought that says don't play music on your stream. It makes it easier for people to keep you in the background. I've dabbled with that. Part of it for me is I need to listen to music while I stream. And I know I could listen to my own music, but it's part of the shared experience if we're, like, listening to it together. And also, I think the thing that actually decided it for me was this idea that, oh man, I messed up a bunch of these. Shoot. Or maybe just one. Maybe I just messed up one. it seems like a bunch of these got messed up. How is this totally... Okay, now I have to question everything. But yeah, I think there's a school of thought that says don't play music on stream. And there's another school that says play music so quietly nobody can really hear it. I think that's a valid school as well. I should switch the radio to not cinematic orchestral swell music. I like to have a shared vibe that we're all partaking in, which is why I play music. Building up your streaming stamina, LSG, so you can stream for the next solo game jam. That'd be awesome. Yeah, 1960. Arnio, music is like the PowerPoint slide you need for a presentation. It gives people something else to look at, listen to besides yourself, so you don't have to talk perform as much. That's a good point. Dead air is very scary to a streamer, but if you have music on, it's slightly less scary. Okay, so this is off. But yeah, for me, it's about the shared vibe. Okay, well, I totally messed that up. Did I mess this side up? If not, I might just copy that side over. Now I'm paranoid. I mean, maybe I was already paranoid. But now I have a reason to be. Totally messed that up. You're not sure you want to start paying for something? Oh, I see. I'm sure you want to start paying for something like Pretzel Rocks on the first stream. Yeah. You don't need Pretzel Rocks specifically. You know, it depends, Sapphire. There's other things. I think there's like Twitch soundtrack. There's like a few different options. If you're just streaming to Twitch, you have a bunch of options for music. For me, the complexity is because I'm multi-streaming to Twitch and YouTube, and I'm keeping the VODs on YouTube afterwards. I have to pay for something like Pretzel Rocks that will protect me from things like copyright strikes and stuff. LSG, you think you're guilty of having the music on a little loud on stream? You're pretty aggressive ducking on it. Yeah, I would dial it back too. Yeah. You want subtle ducking and a quieter background. Go watch a YouTube video on like how to set up your stream audio for streaming. There's like a bunch of YouTube videos. And they do smart stuff of like, well, your microphone needs to be here, and then relative to that, your music needs to be here, and like something else should be here. Like there's people have figured out the ratios that you should generally follow. Arnio, video game streams don't play music because they tend to talk perform more since they have more to react to explain at all times. Game dev requires concentration, which requires long sciences of just writing or thinking. Yeah. Well, a video game stream, you want to foreground the actual stuff from the game, like the actual game audio. LSG, you're not saving VODs for now, so you're just listening to the music you always listen to. Yeah, that's fine. Are you also multi-streaming to YouTube? Or is it just Twitch? Because if it's just Twitch, don't worry about it. They will just mute the VOD if there's the infringing music or whatever. Okay, I think this is right now. I don't think we have that alignment problem anymore. So all I'm going to do now is complete the grid. But yeah, Solo Dev Jam 12 is going to come up real quick. I'm like keeping an eye on the vote, and it's definitely going to be like early to mid-July. Like I think it's the weekend after the 4th of July. And it's cool, but it's sooner than I thought it would be. But we'll do it. I love it. My favorite jam. I need that win. So I might keep the railings in a couple of places, but you know what? I'll just add that back in if I actually do that. Easier to just do a blanket hatch thing here than anything more complicated. Nice, nice Sapphire. Maybe trying a stream Saturday. Hell yeah. Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, if you're gonna do both, then yeah, you have to pay more attention to the music situation. I went overboard here, didn't I? Dunk. Go. What's happening here? I think I did it wrong again. How? How did I do that? No. Okay, I did it kind of right. Why am I tripping? What's going on here? That's just how it looks. Okay. I'm gonna trust that we did this correctly initially. I'm having some doubts. But let's just figure it. Let's just look at it. I think I'll add back the supports underneath where I decide to connect it to the wall. So let's just put the crosshatch thing. You think when you'll start to streaming to YouTube, you'll just use your own music mostly? Yeah, I would advise against that because you will get sick of it. That's part of the reason I do Pretzel Rocks, because like when I start making shorts and like edited videos, I will definitely only use my own music. Because I want, you know, I want it to be my music. I don't want to worry about monetization issues. So for shorts and for edited content, I'll definitely use my own music. But I would encourage you to have some music that you just like for live streams. Because, yeah, you will get sick of it sooner than later. A lot sooner than later. Because I assume you don't have like 40 hours of your own music that you can play. Y'all are funny. Finishing up some English muffins and some coffee here, so apologies. Yes, Arneo. Most of the music that's put up to YouTube is AI generated already. You have to be careful. I look for a lot of like lo-fi like music. And you can tell pretty quick, one, that you're kind of supposed to declare it, but it's pretty easy to tell. It's usually very rudimentary. But yeah, most of the music people are putting up to YouTube is AI generated, unfortunately. Makes it hard. Makes it hard if you're someone who likes listening to like lo-fi playlists and stuff. But you end up figuring out who does the good stuff. You're up to maybe 2 hours of music. Yeah, so you would use literally all of your music in one stream. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend playing your own music on stream. Oh my glob, is Jotson raiding us? Holy cow. Raid alert, everyone. Batten down the hatches. Hide the code. How's it going? How's it going, Jotson? Vex667, thank you for coming in. Jotson raid. Helkios game. Raid time. Dream Arts Live. How are y'all doing? Jotson, I heard that I have you to blame for my recently acquired addiction to the Midnight Sumo Twitch channel, which I watch a lot now.
Maximum warp.
I think I came in there with a Wallaber raid, and Wallaber told me that that you're the one that got him into Midnight Sumo. And yeah, I've watched it a lot at work now. So thanks. Thanks for that. Yeah, I'm not gonna forget shouting out Jotson. I'm gonna shout out Midnight Sumo. Shout out Midnight Sumo. How's it going, Jotson? How are things? How was the stream? Yeah, thank you very much. It's a great thing. Someone explain it. It's a 24/7 sumo wrestling Twitch channel with an English host and commentator, and they go for about 9 or 10 hours a day, and then they run the replay the rest of the time. So you end up catching a whole day of each day of these tournaments, which these grand sumo tournaments are like 15 days every day, and they throw a few of them a year. So there's a tournament right now going on, and so it's been a great time to get it to pick it up. It's fun. It's weirdly hypnotic, especially the lower division stuff, which just goes. The action is just constant. It's very cool. But thank you all. I guess I should talk about what I do and who we are and what's going on here. This is Digital Iliad. We're working on usually isometric pixel art kinds of things. I'm working on a series of FTL-like games. Trying to work our way up to a big like Star Trek scale like FTL-like game, but we're taking a kind of side road to get there. We're working on a smaller game that's like maybe a little cargo runner kind of idle game kind of thing, like a desktop companion game maybe. We're calling it Lo-Fi Flyby, and it's just gonna be like a good time. Just kind of a chill simulation game kind of thing. We're working on this. We're working on getting enough art stuff together that we can put up a Steam page. So that's what I've been working on. So we're working on the starter ship, which is like, it's meant to be like the studio apartment of ships. So we have this, like, we figured out kind of the shell that we want. It's kind of gem-like stuff. We need to still add windows and engines and all these things, but there are these big kind of winged doors. We have a whole isometric system for rendering this stuff. We're working on a catwalk layer that we're going to put up on the second floor, because to fit our like studio loft apartment idea for this is there will be like a big cargo area at the bottom. There will be some like doors, some big cargo doors that swing down. That was the thing, the cutout that you saw. I have too many layers. The cutout that you saw here that like folds down into this big door. Yeah, we're kind of working on finishing the design for this ship. You're addicted to it too, LSG? Midnight Sumo? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, the vibe, the transition from it being totally empty with all the novices towards like it being packed and like so hyped for the top division stuff, Midnight Sumo. figuring out what I need to write down what times of the day the different divisions are usually on in the replays, because I've kind of just been chancing into it. Who is Tobias? You've tuned into the stream quite a few times. You've yet to see the game itself. You've only caught Ace Bright work so far. We're on a big push to do Ace Bright work. We're on a big push to do art. We've been gray boxing. I can show you some of the systems that we've worked on to answer a lot of the visibility stuff, but it's super gray boxed, and it's still not the game. It's just like a tool. Because we're trying to answer like some pretty cursed problems with isometric stuff, which is how to like layer it like vertically. So I can show you kind of the gray boxed tool that we use to achieve some of this stuff. Because we're trying to get to, you know, the point like you have a nice clean cutout like this, and you show like nice scenes like this. But you have to answer some pretty fundamental problems to do that. So like we can build out, so the space is in 3D, but we're rendering it in 2D. So I can make like a quick little ship design here. It's gonna just look like a flying housing block, but it's a pretty good tool. It uses like fake ray casting and stuff to know where your cursor is relative to everything. So it's like pretty easy to use. And there's a bunch of systems that go into this so far. There's like visibility. There's like a cutaway, like a compartmentalization system that can tell where the sealed compartments are. So like I've created this solid block, but we need to be able to like see into it. Hey, K-Cug. How's it going? So I can scroll into these compartments and we do the cutaway stuff. So we have a bunch of systems for that purpose, and I can like subdivide these compartments even further. Do that. And so now when we scroll in, the system knows these are the compartments. So yeah, we still, most of the quote-unquote game has just been different prototypes of different systems and subsystems. But we're getting a constellation of things together. That's the problem with strategy games, is you kind of have to have all of it together before any of it comes together. Kind of tough. I made this wall too wide. That's okay. I think I'm going to start supporting thicker walls. There's no real reason I can't support it. There were some reasons why I thought not to, but I think I'm coming around. Since we changed the way that we thought like crawl spaces would work. We used to think that we were going to have crawl spaces be distinct empty blocks, but I think they're actually going to be these solid blocks, and they'll be passable. So you can like move in the walls in certain areas, which would encourage me to have thicker walls in a lot of sections of the ship. It's cool tech. Yeah, thanks. It really is just a tech stack still though. And we're trying to sort it out. I've decided that the ordering would be best to do the Steam page. So we're working on adding that art layer so that we can have all the requisite stuff to get that Steam page up. And then we're going to go back and start working on stuff that we can put together into like a demo or something. So that's kind of the focus. So right now we're kind of just pushing that art pipeline. So here's the place with both of the cargo bay doors down. So the cargo hold will be this lower area. You'll travel around kind of buying and selling cargo, scavenging from different ships or whatever. I think I want to add an airlock in the front. We want to have this upper catwalk. So you saw my cutaway system. And the thing about that is I want this ship not to really utilize that very much. I want it to be like an at a glance. You can kind of see everything going on in this ship at once, which is why we're kind of doing the studio apartment style. So we're going to have, instead of having a separate area, we're just going to have a catwalk system that's up here, and there will be like a piloting controls up in the front. We'll have this cutout here is for a big engine block that's going to stick out the back. And then we'll add some like little living areas on the side, like maybe some hammocks and some like cooking, like a hot pot kind of, like maybe like an electric griddle and like a little seating area or something. Have it be really rough, because this is the starter ship, so it should be like, there should be very little amenities. I'll open the preview back up. Yeah, we're working on fleshing out that catwalk design. You're gonna head out? No worries, Sapphire. I'm excited for your streaming stuff that you're gonna try out this weekend. That's exciting. If I'm around, I will come say hi. Let us know. Let us know in the Discord when it happens, for sure. But yeah, thank you, Raiders. Thank you, Jotson. All jokes aside about, Midnight Sumo. Thank you, Jotson, for the raid. Thank you, Raiders, for hanging out here, checking things out with us. It's usually a pretty chill co-working stream. It's been especially chill lately with the art push. A lot less coding work getting done. A lot more just kind of drawing. We do game jams quite a bit. We finished a game jam recently. Got the post-jam version just up on my itch page. I uploaded that on Monday. I think we got another game jam for a couple of months from now. Probably in early July, it looks like. I don't like this song. There we go. A little too ethereal. Coffee. Got about half my coffee left. Good times. I overdid it. Went too far. You know what is a mild problem here? Is when we rotate this, we'd really want to rotate to the opposite checkerboard pattern. But I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to bother making two versions of all of the catwalks and stuff with the opposite checkerboard pattern to handle camera rotation. I might just say that's too small to worry about. Hey, Nanigans, how's it going? Happy Thursday. This is very zen. Just be checkerboarding this. It's nice for me. I was sick earlier this week. I'm a lot better now, but I think my energy levels still haven't caught back up. So an activity like this is really nice today. You're fighting shaders. Always be fighting with shaders. If you're not fighting with your shader, is your shader really doing anything? Yeah, thanks, Nannies. been playing a lot of Subnautica since I got sick. Not Subnautica 2, just Subnautica 1. This is my favorite single-player game, and I've only played it all the way through once. So I'm going back through, and I'm having my second playthrough, and man, it is just so good. Such a good game. Such a good time. Even when it's a scary time, it's such a good time. Love that game. That game manages to do more suspense than a lot of horror games that I've tried to play. Something about being underwater, just so unsettling. And yet so chill at the same time. Nanigans, you think the weird issue you were having yesterday with your shader is just a limitation of how the compositor pipeline works? You needed to access the buffers that set you back by a frame. They updated every time any mesh was updated. Yeah, orchestrating all the buffer stuff so that it's all readable at the right time is like, that's hard. That can be hard. Hey, Commander. LSG, you need to figure out Subnautica. You're really prone to motion sickness. You haven't been able to get that game to not make you feel sick. Same with Outer Wilds. I can totally see that with Outer Wilds. I think at least with Subnautica, you can kind of orient yourself, but I guess that stops being true once you can no longer see, once you're far enough down that you like can't see the sun. I can see that being a problem. Yeah, Subnautica is very good. Outer Wilds also very good. But yeah, that's tough. That's tough if you're prone to motion sickness with those kinds of games. That's usually a field of view issue. So I don't know if Subnautica is one of the games where you can change the field of view, but if it is, that usually is how people fix that. I don't know what way fixes it. I think reducing the field of view maybe helps. I don't know. Nanigans, due to how grid map works, whenever you place a tile, it updates a whole chunk of 8x8 tiles, so all the tiles in the area lost their outline as long as you were dragging to place tiles. Not super happy with the direction that was going in general, so you're not worrying about fixing the bug, instead just changing direction and been simplifying things. That's a good choice. Yeah, I have a similar problem when I'm moving stuff around, which is why there's like different. There's like the preview version of all the tiles, and then there's like the actual committed versions of all the tiles, and they're different because it's like you have to rapidly update things when you're previewing them. Thanks for the hydrate, Nix. How's it going? Happy Thursday. Hope Chili hasn't eaten any more internet cables or headphones. Are you making a space chessboard? Kind of. We're making the catwalk layer for the starter ship here. Whoa, why did that interesting. Learning hotkeys here. LSG, you've tried messing with the field of view. You think it's quaternion rotation on a 3D camera that really sets it off, so anything in 3D space triggers it? Oh, that's tough. So you probably wouldn't want to play Hard Space Shipbreaker. Because it's like, I think it's one thing when there's a terrestrial element to it, but as soon as you've unlocked, as soon as there's no consistent or logical up vector, I feel like that must make it worse. But yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I've only experienced something like that in VR, I think. Oh my god, Nix. Chili ate through the Hoover's charging cable for its charging pad. And our radar sensors cable that's connected to Home Assistant. You have a radar in your home? Okay. Just to keep a lookout for like the Luftwaffe. Crazy. Nanigans, you've got a bit of a preview buffer going on for your tiles too. You want to take better advantage of that to show where your cursor is actually placing the proper auto tiling connections. Yeah, that's the technique, right? That's the trick. Is you need the auto tiler needs to know what's only there in preview and take it into consideration. LSG, any dogfighting type game does it. Yeah, that's why you gave up on the spaceship submarine prototype. Oh no, couldn't play your own prototype. You could try making a 2D game. Radar sensors for seeing if there's a person in the room. Fancy, fancy. Trailer for Elite Dangerous was enough to trigger it. Oh, geez. Yeah, I'd imagine any spaceship game would be pretty bad for motion sickness, if that's what triggers you. That's unfortunate. You're 10 years into learning Blender, you're kind of locked in. Yeah, that's rough. To only know how to make 3D, but to be of such a disposition that 3D is like unpleasant. It's tough. It's tough. I guess you just lock the camera. Just lock the camera. No camera rotation. Yeah, free camera rotation is really disorienting. And I feel like they've done studies on like how differently people who play twin stick video games, like who've learned on like a console or something about how to navigate in 3D space, how differently they think about it than people who don't have that background. Like we kind of take for granted how intuitively we understand how to navigate a 3D space with like a controller as gamers, as real gamers. But it's kind of interesting because the default for most people is actually not that. Like if you just, you know, take the average person and hand them a totally free form like camera rotation, like 3D input like that, though it is confusing. It is not intuitive. Feels intuitive to us just because we've trained on it so much. Like we just know. We're like the right stick's the camera, the left stick is me. Or like whatever the variant is, it's like we pick it up pretty quick. Kind of interesting. Hey, Commander, you're sticking to working on a single game for once? Oh. That's quite the accomplishment. I thought I was good at that, but now look at me. I'm like working on multiple games. Kind of not simultaneously, but they're always there in the background. Yeah, that is another thing, Arneo, is like relative versus absolute controls, like whether everything is relative to your camera or to your direction vector. There's a lot of interesting choices to make when coming up with a control scheme for a game like that. I don't think I'd ever do it. I think I'm like a top-down, don't move the camera too much kind of guy. It's like even when we're doing 3D games, we're doing like fake isometric stuff. I don't think I've ever done really the only character controller game I have is Mini Delivery, but that's because that's a driving game. So I didn't really have a choice. And the camera just follows the truck, so it's not like there still isn't really camera controls. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done with this checkerboard. And then I'll probably do the supports underneath. Oop, too far. Nix. What's the chessboard for anyway? It's the catwalk. It's the base for the catwalk for the second floor. And we did copy paste it. We just copy paste the whole tile version, so we're removing the tile delimiters now. Which I may or may not regret later. But I might keep them with like a kind of support beam cross section thing. Depending on how I have them affixed to the wall. I haven't quite decided how I want to do that. Especially on the corner here, because the corner, this is tough. This is tough the way this juts out. It's going to look wrong, kind of no matter what we do over there, but that's fine. Let's try not to do that again with like an impossible perspective. Let's try not to do another impossible perspective ship. I like this one too much to change it. And because it's for lo-fi, I think it's okay. And it is kind of a thing I'm trying to figure out. This is whatever the heck is going on here is wrong. What in the heck? Oh yeah, see, I busted this one up too. It's fine, we'll just redo this part. Move this out. And then we'll just figure out the rest of this. Just fill it in. Fix it. Yeah, that's why I've started having the like preview down in the corner. I know it's really small, but I think it's helping me because it's also like kind of the size that I would want this to look like in if it's in like desktop companion mode. Commander, you've been working on a Monster Tamer game for about a week or so. On and off, you decided to stick with it. You have some friends who are interested in writing some code for it. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you've been sharing some stuff on the Discord. It looks great. Excited to see that develop. Yeah, we got to do the kind of girders underneath this next to give it kind of a more of a, you know, make it look like it actually exists. And then we'll do some kind of cross beams to attach it to the ship hull. And then we'll probably do some like railings. Finish my breakfast here. Hope everyone's having a great Thursday. You Commander, now you just need to see if some of your more artistically inclined friends would be willing to help. Nice. Yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be cool to get a team together. Anyone else got any fun stuff going on for the here's in America. In America, it's a holiday weekend. Long holiday weekend here. It'll be nice. It'll be nice to have a long weekend. I need a weekend to like just chill. Okay, so we got this. I really like the way it looks in the small preview. The zoom out. It looks really nice. You can see behind it and everything. I like that. So what I want to do first is I want to make these beams look more real. So I'm going to pick a couple of directions. And we will run the supports through for those. I'm using the grayscale ramp. I would like to switch to this kind of brown one. I guess I might as well do that now. I just need to change this interior floor to this one. Kind of weird to have the door like this. Like, should I get rid of the outline when it opens? I don't know. I figured that out yet. Oh, we're heading into ads. Hold on to your ads. got Monday off in Europe. Oh, same here. So that's it. Holiday was last weekend. Nice. You forgot it was a long weekend, Rhiannon? How's it going? You're gonna record some vocals for a track you're working on with your cousin? Sick. Sick. It's Memorial Day here, Arneo. It's not a religious holiday, I don't think. Well, here. And I think here will be on, it's on the 25th. Maybe it's supposed to be, yeah. It's one of those always on a Monday thing. Last Monday in May, I think. I think it's one of those ones that moves. No plans, Rhiannon, but maybe you'll get some work on your game done. Thrown in the towel on the pixel art shader pipeline for now, but you want to try your hand at some voxel drawing generation. Nice, nice. Victoria Day over there, so it's tied to the monarchy. Oh, of course. Gotta give it up to the monarch. All right, how do I want this support thing to go? I kind of want support beams across here and maybe here and here. I kind of don't want to do anything this way vertically. I kind of want them all to be side to side for reasons that will become obvious. Mainly to avoid the awkwardness of this corner stuff. Of our impossible perspective. So I might just send out 2 big girders on each of these sizes. I don't like the idea of having jutted out like this, but I probably will do it. Probably will do it. But yeah, let's switch the color over. Let's finish doing that. I think I could generally get rid of this. We should at least change the color. All right, now what did we do? I have to go look at the other corridor, the other catwalk, to see how we did the color. So this was the baseline, and then we did the side, and then we did an underneath. Okay, okay. That doesn't look quite right, but it's okay. I think what I would do is I would change this color. But we start here. As long as I know where we start, we're okay. Start here at the base. Okay. I can work with this. Now I have to put all of this back. Nope. So let's start making it look a little more three-dimensional. The real question is whether I want to do 2 like this. Kind of like that. What I don't think I like is I don't think I liked doing the like this. The like rainbow pattern, the stripe. That's generally not considered good in pixel art, to just rapidly change color like that band after band. Skosian, you would watch this stream? Appreciate you. Any sense to having the supports come from the ceiling? I haven't thought of that. It's possible. I think we'll try this double thick line work here. In which case, I guess I might as well get that extra pixel here for free. Welcome in, Scotian. Yeah, you can see the double thick in the preview, which is a good sign. Yeah, true. Yeah, keeping the preview open is good. It helps. Oh. If it's intended to be a low gravity ship, it makes no difference structurally if supports are above or below. True. Not intended to be a low gravity ship. We're gonna have your standard Star Trek nonsense. We're gonna have inertial dampeners. We're gonna have artificial gravity. I'll have to decide how to handle if power goes out and you lose gravity. But that should be pretty easy. You just start floating things. Like, just treat everything as if it's no longer on the ground. I want to use a darker color for this. The color I used is a little too light, and I think it's also the color that we're going to use for the railings. I think I went too light. That's fine, we can change it. We have the technology. Contrast is a little low with the ground floor. Ground floor is very bright. Although none of these colors are locked in. I just picked some nice colors. What I'm going to need to have come out from the wall here is probably like some kind of steering column thing. I probably need to do something. I guess it could come straight out of the wall, or maybe suspend down or something. I'll have to figure out how I want that quote-unquote steering column stuff to work. The hanging catwalk. Oh, you think like it's suspended from the ceiling, the supports? That's not a terrible idea, actually. Because the thing I want to avoid is I want to avoid this whole stuff jutting out to connect with the wall, but the wall has been cut away. So yeah, I think a hanging catwalk might be the best option. reorder the draw order here a little bit. That's a good idea. I might do something like that. Because, yeah, I'm trying to avoid the awkward support beams that come out and disappear into nothing. In terms of heading out into the front of the ship, which is cut away. But if I do a hanging thing, it's still kind of weird, but maybe it's more excusable. I don't know. We'll probably have to try a couple things. I'll have to try a couple things. Because there's really no version of it that doesn't get cut away awkwardly for some purpose at some point. Whoa, what layer am I on? Jeez, Dave. Awkward. Classic wrong layer, Dave. You like the colors right now, Nanigans? Okay. Yeah, they don't necessarily need to stand out, the catwalk versus the cargo bay floor. I just have to remind myself that none of this is set in stone. Is this a low spec palette, or did you pick the color? This is a Zenit 241, which I've switched over for Lo-Fi Flyby. I was using my own palette for the main game, but we're gonna try Zenit. I like this palette. Good for space stuff. It'd be really nice if I could see where I was more easily in the preview. Like if there was a little, I wish there was a little camera frustrum, little outline in the preview, so I didn't have to just look for my cursor. Nix, you're pretty hyped. You downloading a new LLM runner, custom offline model running on it. Search the internet. Interesting. 85 megabits a second. That's how much bandwidth that thing uses. That's a lot. I'm streaming in 4K to YouTube, and that only takes 40 megabits a second. Rhiannon, put some tiny thrusters on the bottom of the catwalk and just make people duck when they walk under them. Yeah, it's just a floating. What we'll probably do, because we have a lift in the center, we'll probably have some kind of support beam thing coming up, running up through the center of these things. Probably what we'll do. I'm not 100% on that. Yeah, it's always a question of exactly how quote unquote high fantasy or low fantasy your world is, right? Like how advanced is the technology in this world? It's got to be pretty advanced because you know you won't really encounter them in this game, but in the Digital Iliad universe, there are disembodied godlike artificial intelligences that basically run everything. So someone has figured out how to convert their existence into pure energy. That's pretty advanced. If you just ask the Babylon 5 universe how advanced that is, that's pretty advanced. But I think we're there's some element of we're so advanced that in many ways it's actually going to be quite rudimentary, the kind of the stuff you see. I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. I have decided that I want like a lot of physical components on the ship, like if you're turning something on or off, like you're physically turning a valve somewhere. Like I've played some games like Void Crew where like you trim the engine by like flipping levers and like turning valves and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's good. From an animation standpoint, that's like really compelling to have the little characters running around and like pulling these like enormous like valves and like these big switches and stuff. It's way cooler than them running up to just an electronic display and just typing some stuff into the L cars, you know. Yeah, like we're on a horseshoe where things are so advanced that the advanced stuff has been re-abstracted away from the average person. Yeah, kind of that kind of thing. Like, I think ultimately we'll come away from having everything be like digital displays and stuff. And I think eventually we'll start to head back into like things are more physical, tangible things. Just for robustness. Because a ship needs to be like robust and stuff. It's like, it's not like an iPhone, you know? Like there's a sturdiness that you expect from something. It's like, oh, is this right? One. Yeah, okay, that's right. It's like we're abstracting back away from that sort of thing. So here's the question. Do I hint at the grid network a little bit? Here, let's finish the rest of this and then I can decide. Whether that's the case or not. So I have 2 shades darker that I can go. Really just one, maybe. I think I want to use this color. Like that. Yeah, that's better. Better. Because then I can use this color for like the supports. And it won't just disappear into this. Although then for this I would want to use this color. Oops. It's fine. Easy to change. Arneo, were you to write sci-fi, you don't think you'd have the rigor and attention to detail needed to write something realistic like The Expanse? You'd be more on the fantasy Star Wars side of things. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Yeah. I think you make some hand-wavy statement about negative energy, and then you're just off to the races. Because if you can figure out a way to make negative energy, there are so many cool things you can do. You can travel faster than light. You can time travel. Because if you can travel faster than light, you can time travel. Just figure out some sufficiently hand-wavy reason why you'd be able to do that. That's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to be like, ships in this day and age have a negative energy drive. They're able to utilize the power of the vacuum to blah, 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 blah. It's like you need to know what the problems are that you're facing in your universe, but your solution can be very hand-wavy. Just look at Star Trek's like inertial dampeners. How does that work? Doesn't matter. There's a Heisenberg compensator, because we know that there's, the Heisenberg compensator just fixes all of this. The Heisenberg compensator, aka Jesse Pinkman. Say my name. LSG, every carbon atom in the universe was transformed into carbon plus, and now everything is magic except when you say it isn't. Yeah. Oh god, don't even get me started on the quote unquote on the burn from Star Trek Discovery. I want to be super clear. I like Star Trek Discovery. Michael Burnham is my dog. I'm cool with Michael Burnham. But I'm upset about the burn. Okay, looks like we're going all right. I don't know why I came all the way over here. How's the heck does a car's differential work? Yeah, exactly. Arneo, you like the idea of technology developing to the point where it becomes so arcane to most people it goes back to mythology and metaphors? Yeah, I think that's a good approach too. The technology that's sufficiently advanced enough to be indistinguishable from magic. Nanomachines, yeah. Whoa, that was too far. Here. Just adding some support. Some supports to these catwalks, adding a little bit of dimensionality to them. You can kind of see that taking shape in the preview. I know the preview is really small. I can't make it much bigger, or it like takes up my whole screen. But we're starting to get a feel for. Glad I went with the double thick line work on the side. It's helping. It's definitely helping. Yeah, we got to decide how we're going to affix this to the hull. I don't know. I haven't decided how we're going to do that. All right, now we're back over here again. Hey, Oneric Nomad. It's a lot of episodes. You've been working on this for a while. Yeah, it depends on how you count it. We've done a lot. We've had different prototypes. We tried different things out. Right now we're on a kick where we're working on a lot of art for our side project, Lo-Fi Flyby, which is going to be a little like cargo management FTL-like kind of game, like a lightweight, smaller scale game than a full FTL-like Star Trek scale thing. We're kind of going to work our way up, so we're kind of taking a circuitous route, which is, you know, how we can be at episode 357 and still be working on like basic art direction questions. You try a lot in game dev. You try a lot. You try everything in game dev. How's it going, Eric? You've thought about doing something like what I'm doing, like streaming game development. You're wondering how you manage to stay focused while commentating. The commentating is kind of what helps me to stay focused. Their streamer brain is real. There's definitely certain things that will be harder to work on stream. That's definitely a real thing. But I think the benefits in terms of accountability are really good. And it's one of those things, Oneric, where we live in an attention economy, right? Like, the thing everyone's fighting over is your attention. And everyone is fighting for your attention. Whether it's, you know, Facebook or Instagram or Amazon or Fortnite. We're all fighting for your attention. So it's one of those, like, I think you as a game dev, assuming you're trying to do this professionally and not just like a hobbyist, eventually you need to address that problem, right? You need to address the, how am I gonna get everyone's attention? How am I gonna build an audience? And the nice thing about starting a game dev stream, especially as you start working on the game, is as your game grows, so does your audience. And then hopefully the idea is, you know, that by the time the game is done, you've got an audience ready and waiting for it. A bunch of people who are excited about it, who are invested in your work. Because you can always, you know, just put out a game and just hope it gets picked up and hope that there's like a viral Reddit thread on it, or hope that Splattercat Gaming gets it, or some other big streamer like tweets about it, you know. You could do YouTube shorts, you could do TikToks. You don't have to do streaming. You don't have to do edited video, long form video content, but it's like, I think you need to do something. You need to do something. It's not 2011. You can't just put a game out. All right, this is looking okay. This is looking okay. I want the beams to go underneath to an extent. I just don't quite know if I want that to happen everywhere. Unclear if I want that to be happening everywhere. I guess we do it in a couple of places and see how that is like. I kind of want it to be running sideways. Or we do the hanging thing. The hanging supports is kind of a good idea. I don't quite know how I would want to render hanging supports. Like, do we want to try to have some kind of like chain looking thing, or like an I-beam? Do we just do like an I-beam? Like, how do you do a chain at this resolution? Doesn't look like shit. I think I'll do the railings and then decide. Oh, Narek, your cousin had a successful game, like relative to budget. Yeah. Made like 100K off of nothing. Yeah, that's cool. Most important thing was getting the word out there. Yeah, exactly. You can make a game and nobody notices. Yeah. You just need a plan for that. There's a million ways to do that, but you gotta think about it. Why, if I make this game, who will notice? Who will care? Who will see it? Just gotta have a plan. So now what we're going to do, let's turn the legend back on here so I can look at this. So I don't think I want to do this version. I think I want to do this version. Which is kind of janky. How tall was this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Eight with the railing. Okay. Hey, TripAdvisor, how's it going? The preview's feeling really nice. Yeah, the preview's looking good. Preview's looking good. TripAdvisor, you made a rotating cube that speeds up or slows down with user input and is constantly changing color from shaders. Ain't much, but it's honest work. That's fun. You're going through the Bevy examples and taking notes. That sounds great. Yeah, Bevy's cool. At our Godot meetup, we joke that the only other acceptable engine for people to use at the meetup would be Bevy. It's funny. It kind of comes up a lot. So you know how it works here is this is actually one continuous color. I didn't do that here, and I'm wondering if I should. Hey, Jacob. How's it going? Tobiggy done? I assume they adored your game. As anyone would. Yeah, I like using a different color here. Should I use the slightly darker color for this part? Yeah, I think so. That doesn't totally make sense, but maybe it does. Maybe it's okay. Yeah, that's good. How many Unity spies have infiltrated the ranks? Just you, hopefully. You're thinking, Rod, since you just only have 2 or 3 pixels to work with, the chain might be hard to render. It could be. It could be. Hey, Farm Kid, how's it going? Arneo, you mean not every game dev has to be a streamer, but it's smart to do some version of community building during the game building. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. You don't have to stream. Nobody has to stream. But if you're not going to stream, get on TikTok. Get a YouTube short thing going. You know, join some Reddit communities. You don't have to stream, but you got to do something. Got to do something. Should this be a different color? Okay, I don't want to go back to that. I kind of want to do something a little brighter. Try to do like this. Does that make sense to be 1 or like this? That, or it would be like this. Definitely looks a lot more 3D when I double it up like that. So we'll probably do that. Let's finish this first. Thanks for hanging out, Drip. Appreciate you. Yeah, we're only about halfway into the stream time for today, so we'll probably still be here. You're not much of a spy, Jacob. Yeah. Does the player walk on this above part? Yeah, this is where all of the systems are going to be. This is where, like, I think there's going to be a steering column area in the front, like piloting area. I think there will be an engineering section in the back. There's going to be a little elevator lift in the center here, so you can lift things up and down. So if you need to, like, repair the engine, you can, like, buy some stuff and, like, lift it up and move it over. And then your living areas are going to be kind of on the sides here. They're going to be really rudimentary. There's going to be, like, you'll probably have a hammock or two suspended, and then maybe some rough areas where you've kind of put something down that you can use for, like, cooking or eating or whatever. If you're asking where the toilet is, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about that. Yeah, and then I think we'll do a slightly lighter shade here. Well, so we could do the same shade as on the ground here, or we could do a slightly lighter one. Let's try both. Let's try both. I think it would be kind of good to use a different shade here for this. A slightly brighter shade. Since we're theoretically closer to wherever the light source is, which is just very clearly above us. That's kind of just been my guiding principle. There's just a light source above us, and depending on how close or far. That's looking good. I'm liking the further spaced railings. It's looking good in preview to me. I could probably make the preview a little bigger. Oh, because the preview is at a set zoom, isn't it? Yeah, so I could make the preview bigger, but then it's a lot bigger. Yeah, sorry. Pixel art has to be at a specific zoom level where it doesn't make sense. So I gotta keep it like this. I had you at elevator lift. Nice. You know what is not gonna work is any kind of, like, foreground background thing. This is going to be annoyingly complicated from a Z indexing standpoint. The way I've done this. But that's okay. That's okay. We'll splice it up. We'll splice it up later. I'm going to actually go back to calling this. I'm not going to have 2 layers for the catwalk. We're just going to draw around it. You know, or maybe I do. Maybe I make my best effort. Make my best effort. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll be okay. It'll be close. Hey, Ezra. We got different looking shapes. Yeah, we're working on the catwalk area, which is this area above our little tiny little cargo ship. The studio apartment of cargo ships. We're working on that little catwalk. How's it going, Ezra? Spacesuits have a toilet built in. Yeah, exactly. Brandon, you need a spaceship simulator rig. When the character sits down at it, it pops up an in-game spaceship game they can play to pass the time. Oh, that'd be funny. That would be funny. Yeah, I really need a lot more layers to capture this, but I don't want to make that many more layers. How's this supposed to work then? Be like this. Oh, I kind of see the problem. This actually would need to go out to here, huh? Here. That's kind of weird. I'm gonna not worry about that. I could do this. It looks wrong. I see a slight conundrum. You're looking forward to a long weekend to stream? Nice, nice. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to come by. Ezra's here to remind you you've missed your weekly checkpoint, Arneo. Oh, no. Hey, Magoo. How's it going? Oh, Narek, you've subscribed. One more question. Oh, I hope you're still here. Sorry, I didn't see your question until now. You're pretty good at pixel art. Any idea how to go about practicing that kind of thing? Just do it. In the immortal words of Shia LaBeouf. This is the first pixel art piece I ever made. This logo is the second piece of pixel art. I guess I can be here. This logo is the second piece of pixel art I ever made. So I only started taking up pixel art to make this game, to do this work. All it took is to start. Pay attention to your lighting. Personally, I picked a really low resolution so that I wouldn't have to worry about anatomy and shit like that. Pay attention to your lighting and think about the rules of your perspective, and that's it, I would say. And then just go for it. Just have a project. Have a project you're trying to work on. Have a reason to do the work. Like, I think it's, for me personally, it's a lot harder to motivate myself to do it if I'm just trying to do it to, like, practice a skill. But yeah, it was, I took to it a lot more naturally than I thought. I'm way more comfortable and familiar with programming. I'm not a real programmer either, but I'm more, it's where I spend most of my time. Drip, you're cutting back on energy drinks, so you've been drinking 4-shot lattes. Well, at least you're trying. But yeah, especially if you have like a weird isometric perspective or something like that, getting comfortable with the space is an interesting challenge for sure. For sure. Okay, this actually helps a little bit because I can do like this. This is kind of weird. I don't quite know what to do here. This turn is getting a little confused for me. I guess maybe this is okay. Kind of okay. I know it doesn't maybe quite look like anything right now, but I think that's okay. Kind of weird that it juts out like this. I think anything else would look kind of weird. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I don't quite know what to do about this part. The only other option would be to only show one little corner here. I think this is good. I think this is as good as we're going to get. Hey, Poker Strong. You see better with those 4 eyes? Oh, you know it. Four eyes are better than one. I try to keep my third eye closed, or I think that would be too much. Same caffeine, less weird supplements you don't need. Drip advisor. That's a fine way to think about it. Nanigans, your means of learning pretty much any digital or technical skill is simply having a thing that you need to want to get done. Often a little outside your current skill set. Yeah, that's they call that the learning edge, right? Which is where you're right on the edge of your established skill set. You're just past your comfort zone. That is the learning edge. That's where learning occurs. So yeah, if you can keep yourself there, you will learn a lot very quickly. Very quickly. You're dreading the summer. It gets pretty hot in your slice of Cali. I'm up in here in San Francisco. It's not going to get warm up here. The weekend it got pretty warm, but it's not going to get warm up here until like August, September. So we're chilling. Drip, you're getting ready. All right, no worries. We'll probably still be here. Appreciate you. Appreciate you hanging out. I'm confusing my light model now. How do I... Kind of doing this weirdly. I have this inner one be darker and this outer one be lighter, but that changes sometimes. So this would be the darker inner one would be here, and the lighter outer one would be here for some reason. And this would be the inner darker one. Okay. Okie doke. I think I might need pick a slightly different shade here to put this on a different ramp slightly. Looks okay, though. Looks okay. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me today. We stream 5 days a week, game dev. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, depending on what we got in terms of game jams or anything. Hey, Old Dome. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for getting us to our 750. Welcome, the 750th follower here. Appreciate you. It's huge. Hope you're having a fine day here. Should I just arbitrarily pick a direction here for this to be brighter on one side instead of doing whatever this is? Yeah, I think I should. I think I should just pick this side to be brighter. I kind of like having it be after the line here instead of being over. I'll keep that. Kind of like that. That looks good. You started your solo game dev journey? Oh, congratulations! That's great. What are you doing? What's the plan? What's your strat looking like? I hope you're using Godot. Oop. I need more. I need to be able to have like a third color set up. That's so weird. That's better. All right. Oh, but now I've changed the rule somehow. Did like that on that side. One of us. Yeah, that's funny. Old Dome, you're currently going through the GD Quest courses and learning GD script. Oh, awesome. If you want to share your work or ask questions or whatever, we do have a Discord. Oh, Rhiannon's on it. I'm going to let you do that, Rhiannon. Hey, Miff, how's it going? One of us. GMT Gate Jam just got announced. Oh, hype. Hype. I've switched the shadow side here, and I'm like having second thoughts about it. I think I should be consistent is what I should probably do. That looks a little weird though. Oh no, it looks good. Consistency is king. July also? Jesus. No, yeah, I'm going to be doing the solo dev jam. I don't do GMTK because I think GMTK is a contest of teams. Like GMTK is such a big jam, you really need to be doing it with teams, I think. That's my personal opinion. And I don't really do team jams, so it's not really for me. So I think I'll be doing the solo dev jam, but that's always hype. GMTK is hype. There was like 10,000 games last time or something like that. Some crazy number. All right, I think I've settled on this pattern here. Should be able to knock the rest of this out relatively quickly. Yeah, I'm excited for you for your journey, Old Dome. Same time as GodotCon Boston. Oh my god, Miff. I really want to go to GodotCon Boston, but yeah, it's the exact same time frame. And I went to GodotCon Boston last year. It was so great. I don't know if you went. It was a great time. But airfare and stuff is just so crazy right now. I'm having a hard time justifying the cost. Airfare is like 3 or 4 times as much as it was last time. It's tough. Tough to justify that cost. Well, hold on a second. What am I doing over here? Oh, that just works. Interesting. I'm like really torn about this weird shape that I've got going in here. It kind of breaks the pattern a little bit. I think it would be better to not have this. I'm gonna undo it real quick and we'll look at it fresh. So if I was gonna do this, it would be like, it would be something really stupid like this, right? I would just do like that. I guess that's technically maybe better. I don't know if I love this little horseshoe shape compared to what we had before, compared to this. Yeah, GodotCon was such a great time, Ezra. Yeah, I don't know about that versus this. This is like kind of violating the rules, but I think it kind of looks better. You're gonna go this year? Awesome, Miff. That sounds great. You have family in Boston? You're gonna win it this time? I know you will. Yeah, I'm intimidated at GMTK. I'm trying to win solo Dev Jam someday though. Yeah, I'm back in it, Jacob. I'm ready to go. Subathon stream to send me to Boston. Yeah, not quite. Ezra, you need to focus more on getting all around score. You always skip sound. Yeah, my problem is always that my scope is so high that I usually just barely get it done. And I never have any time for polish, and I usually suffer on polish. But I'm really proud of the last jam entry I did a couple weeks ago. I think, especially with the solo dev jam, because you're allowed to use assets and stuff, I think I'm getting a good feel for what I can accomplish in the time. I think I'm getting a good feel for it. So yeah, I'm excited for the next solo dev jam. For sure. Quick sanity check that I'm on the right layers. Oh, I see what I did here. Okay. Yeah, Ezra, I think finding a strong base mechanic that you can get up in like the first day or so, and then you can iterate on it. That's usually not my approach, is not something that's like extensible. I usually go for something that's like I'm all in on some big simulation or something that'll take so many days to sort out, and by the time it's sorted out, it's like out of time. Tough stuff. So compelling though. I love doing the jam. We love a good jam here. Peanut butter and jam. Yeah, there you go. A little confused about this. Oh, I didn't go far enough. I see what happened here. Rip. Well, wait a second. How does this reconcile? This is too tall now, right? It's got to be. Yeah, way too tall. By the way, random thought. Would you get yelled at if you go for just chatting category while developing? You gotta go evangelize for software dev and game dev category in wider C. You're in an ad? All right. Well, rip. I think if you're just chatting, I think that's fine. Just a nice yap stream. I don't see a problem with it. I'm going to have some Y sorting nightmares with this, what I've got going on here. There should be railings around the lift. No, I guess not. We'll have like a thing that opens and closes. One of those like accordion style elevator gates. Let's do the tops of the. Whoop. Let's go do this real quick. All right, we're back from ads. I think that's good. I think that's cool. I think just chatting, stream about it would be cool. I don't think there's anything controversial about that. Just don't be careful. Don't open up any IDEs, you know? And go find the nearest hot tub. I don't think it can be a just chatting stream if it's not a hot tub stream. Yeah, open IDE, get banned for abuse of categories. Miscategorization of stream. Oh, I see. You've achieved the day job. That's cool. That sounds like a cool place to work for. All right. Well, this is looking, the railings look really good in preview. I think I'm pretty happy with this railing. I think we'll do the rest of it. figure out what we're gonna do in the center. Maybe the center is where we send is how we support the catwalk. Like we'll do a thing from maybe the floor to the ceiling. There should probably be some ladders in some places here. I forgot to leave any space for ladders. I like my ladder design too. We'll have one ladder that goes up to the bubble, to like the crow's nest bubble, for sure. May or may not have another ladder as well. Not really sure how you're supposed to get outside the ship. You might have a little airlock on top or something. You can get outside the ship. No, you had your new job for about a month now. Nice. Yeah, figuring out the schedule. Okay, so you've become a weekend streamer. That's cool. My work is threatening some kind of RTO. The timeline keeps getting pushed back, so I don't know anything. It's unlikely they're going to implement it until next year, which is good. But yeah, at some point that'll mess up our schedule as well. If I have to go into the office like Tuesday through Thursday or something, we'll probably also have to become a weekend streamer. Not trying to get ahead of myself. I'm still hoping I could get some kind of exemption or something. Still trying to negotiate, you know, what that means for me as an individual. So, don't worry, no changes to the stream. But it is something kind of looming over me. Makes it hard to make life decisions, you know? Not knowing what that's going to look like. Yeah, it's tiring. It's tiring. LSG, your last job did an RTO. You got a new remote job. It's so nice. You moved out of the city. Yeah. I live in the city. The irony is I don't think our office is going to be in the city because no one else wants to come into the city, and I'm like the only one that lives in the city. I think I'd have to do something like that if I lost my current apartment. I've been in the same apartment for 15 years. What year is it? Yeah, 15 years. What year is it? Hold on. I was priced out of San Francisco like a few years after I moved in here. But I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I locked in a place at a rate. If I could ever go indie, like proper indie, I would have to seriously consider moving out. I think. Just to make my money last a little longer. Okay, I'm starting to get disoriented here. I think this is right. Let's do the rest of it first. Then we'll go back and do the railing. Yeah, I do. I do, Jacob. LSG. They had an exemption if your commute would be over 90 minutes or something. Yeah, that applies to me. Somehow I have done this wrong. I think this is where we do this silly nonsense to get back on the right. And we do something like this. So yeah, I got the so-called golden handcuffs in my current living situation. I cannot consider leaving. Huh, you're funny, shenanigans. Yeah, I think lo-fi is going to be an experiment in, like, we'll probably chop this up and render it more per block or have some per block stuff. But I'm really interested in exploring canvas item rendering for the compartments. Try to do it a little broader at like the compartment level or at some kind of sub compartment level, rather than do a per block rendering. I want to experiment with that because it does give us some interesting options to do some more organic ships, to do some different kind of shapes, some ship shapes. I'm interested in exploring that. Which is why we're hand drawing everything. So then I can splice this later and put it into our canvas item drawer. Structure looks good. You like the railing? Yeah, the railing is all right. We messed around with an experiment for the railing in the last ship design. The last ship design was too boxy. This we're trying to do like the studio apartment of cargo ships. So just one big space that we can just have a reliable cutaway for. And then that way, I think this kind of a ship design will work really well for like a desktop companion situation. We'll have to see if I can make a bigger ship that holds to this principle later. Because this is supposed to be like the starter ship, but we'll see. I think it's pretty good. Ezra, I would have been embarrassed if you published that. I don't know. I heard Sisa had a public GitHub with all of their like private secret keys and stuff. Pretty funny. And that's like the government agency responsible for cybersecurity. Shows a lot of this work is going to be usable for the game art too. So you're not working this hard just for the screenshot. No, this is where, at the moment, we're designing the ship, which we'll splice up and we'll use. Which is why I'm kind of going a little overboard in terms of, like, establishing the cutaways and stuff. It's probably a mistake to literally call this the screenshot, because it's probably not that. We'll probably do something slightly different for that. Hopefully we'll be able to reuse it for a couple of the screenshots. Like, I think one of them will be like a cargo unloading situation. So we'll put this in like a dock, space dock or something. Does anyone say they're going to go to GodotCon this year? Yeah, I think Miff said they would. I think it's going to be a stretch for me because, yeah, like I was looking at airfare and they announced it so late. I really wish they'd announced it a lot earlier. I get if they didn't want to like step on Amsterdam's toes or something, but like I wish they'd announced it a lot earlier. Ideally before the war with Iran started. so I could get some cheaper airfare. Because yeah, airfare is just brutal right now. I don't think I can swing it. I think it's a little too late. I think they announced it a little too late, and the situation's a little too tough to make it happen, which is sad. I love GodotCon. I would love to go back to Boston. I really enjoyed being in Boston. That's a great city. I could see myself. That's probably the one city I could see myself living in on the East Coast, would be Boston. I don't think I would want to live on the East Coast, but I think if I had to, I would choose Boston. Beautiful city. I don't think I would choose New York over Boston. The Boston Godot scene is, or just the Godot scene, but the Boston game dev scene is like pretty vibrant. I was impressed. All right, see you, Rhiannon. All right. Oh, no. I thought you were saying bye to me. Bye, Nanigans. Ooh, barbecue. Yeah, the time or the budget are both an issue for me this year. For sure. Huh. Funny guy, Arneo. I would take a train, but in America, trains are more expensive than planes, like significantly. Like nobody takes a train if they actually need to get somewhere. I don't know why anyone takes a train. I really wish we had a good train system in the US. It'd be really cool. Like it's kind of pathetic. Compared to, you know, Europe or South America or Asia. Pretty much every other continent has a better train network than we do, except maybe Antarctica. So what's going on with this? How did I, I see. Okay, so I have some slight regret with the way I've chosen the shading here, but I think this will be fine. Actually, it will be fine. I can confidently say this will be fine. I will confidently say this will be fine. Just release a game, make a few million sales, easy. Oh yeah, the train systems. Yeah, trains are rough. Oh, what in the what has occurred here? So I messed this up. I should not have put the railing there. Oops. Oopsies. Now I have to fix it. Okay. The railing was supposed to go here. We're almost done. We've almost made it all the way around here. Whoop. That was wrong. Hey, okay. Now we just got to go around and add that top layer to the railing, and it will look right, he says confidently. Yeah, trains. It's really sad that we never... If you've ever... Anyone who's read, like, I highly encourage anyone who's interested in this kind of stuff to read Lewis Mumford's The City and History. I think that someone put out a distilled YouTube video about it at some point. I didn't watch it, but I saw the thumbnail and I was like, someone just took the Lewis Mumford's book and like decided to make a video essay about it. I could just instantly tell. But yeah, The City and History is a great book. It goes through the whole history of cities as like infrastructure from like ancient times to today. And it goes through all the reasons why our cities just absolutely are trash nowadays, especially in America. And it's mostly the fault of the car. It's pretty much almost entirely the fault of the car. The choice to pursue the car as our primary transport mechanism. It's the main reason things suck today. In America, specifically. But it's interesting to see how that happened. I don't have a car, which is... I'm lucky because I've lived in San Francisco for so long. I've never needed a car. Arneo, you fell asleep when you trained home from a late work shift once and nobody noticed. You found yourself trapped inside an empty lights out train at 11 p.m. Yeah, that's happened. I've seen that. I've heard that. That happened to my mom once, where she ended up in a... Oh, it happened to my partner too. They fell asleep and they ended up like in the depot at the end of the line, and they had to walk out of the depot, the train depot. Very funny. Hey, Klon. What language do you use for coding? It depends. We use Godot, so if we're just doing a game jam or whatever, or we're just interacting with the Godot API, we usually use GDScript. But most of my code is written in C#, which is not the best language, but it's the language I'm most comfortable with. And it has pretty decent integration with Godot. But I like GDScript. GDScript is nice for simple projects, especially for game jams. But we haven't done a lot of coding lately. We've been kind of on an art kick. Been really working on art direction stuff. What is going on here with this railing? Can you blend C# with GDScript? You can kinda. It's better if they don't talk to each other because you pay for that. You pay for, because Godot, GDScript is like a scripting language over like the C++ like underlying engine code and stuff, right? So it's unmanaged. It's like native code. And, you know, C# is managed. So you pay a price when you cross that domain. So I try to avoid that as much as possible. I try to have as little cross-domain stuff as possible. So like we use C# for the simulation layer of our game. And so all it does is it receives input from Godot and then it sends out its output, but they don't talk to each other throughout the frame very much. You just receive input and you send over anything that you need Godot to like render or whatever. So the UI input comes in and the rendering output goes out. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much the only crosstalk I have, or whatever you want to call it. I don't think crosstalk is really the right word, but you haven't had any issue with GDScript so far? Yeah, I love it. The only reason I started using C# is I didn't want all of our simulation objects to be nodes or resources or whatever. I wanted like very lightweight, like struct simulation objects. And so I decided to just kind of do that in its own little domain with our really dumb like C# ECS that we wrote, a very lightweight ECS. It barely works for what we need it to do. Very minimal in terms of features for me. GDScript really shines with UI and twains and stuff. Yeah, GDScript is great. If you're just interacting with the engine, just use GDScript. I think the only argument for people to use C# is it's the language they're comfortable with, which I think that's fine. There's plenty of options. Hell, there's like Rust bindings for Godot. Like, use whatever language you want. I say. All right, that's our catwalk. The only thing we really have to decide is what to do with the middle and how to attach it to the hull. But I like it. I like where it's going. We'll have an engine block back here that we need to draw. We'll have some steering control stuff up here. I'll probably remove part of this at that time. We really just need a way of mounting this to the hull, and I think the best idea would be to have this central like elevator shaft be attached. What we'll probably do is I'll probably do some kind of big I-beam, and we'll probably have rollers that come up and down, sort of thing. So you can kind of see the rollers go up and down the sides. Have like little 2x2 wheels that just flip orientation every frame. Just do something like that. You wish list processing felt better, but it's perfectly serviceable. Yeah, Godot favors flexibility and everything before everything else, right? And yeah, it's usually the right trade-off. Until you get really specific. Hull, yeah. Nice, Jacob. Love it. Funny guy. Rhiannon, you want to love GDScript, and objectively you think it's great, but you personally don't like white space dependent languages. That's the thing I hate about it more than anything else. Is the control flow stuff. The indentation-based control flow. Flow control. I hate that. Because I like to write pretty vertical code. I don't count lines, so I don't care. I'm not like trying to inflate my line counts or whatever people complain about. I usually only have so much width. I don't like super long lines, so I like arranging it. And in most languages, in any, bracketed language, or like, curly brace delimited kind of thing, it's trivial to do that. But in GDScript, it is not trivial to do that. And there's like escape characters and stuff you can use to like make it so you can do that kind of, like you can parenthetically wrap things, or you can use like a slash to like break the line. And I'm like, I don't love that. I kind of work around it by just declaring a stupid number of variables in GDScript, just so I don't have these really long functions or really long lines. I end up doing a lot of extraneous variable declarations, just so that when I finally do the thing, it's like a pretty concise instruction. It's not like this big long line. Ezra, you're surprised to see you even have 90 wish lists on your page for how little you advertise. That's awesome. Yeah, that's why I really want to get my Steam page up. I want to just start collecting those wish lists passively, because your Steam page should be up for like a year or like a year and a half to get the most possible benefit from having that up early. Some Chris Z statistics about that, about like needing at minimum 6 months and ideally like 18 months to have your Steam page up before you release. Ezra, you go for verbose because you can't ever remember. That's a good reason to go verbose. You're nervous for the official marketing push? Yeah, it's tough. I want to get to a point. Part of the reason why I'm pushing the art too beyond the Steam page is I'm looking forward to doing some like shorts. I want to get into YouTube shorts. I don't think I'm going to get into edited videos for a while. I think eventually I will, but I'm interested in setting up funny little scripted moments that I can turn into like a 15-second short. People really react well to like cute little things, and I think there's some element of cute pixel art stuff going on here that I think I can capitalize on. You have to come back and decide if this is done yet or not. I'm not gonna decide that right now. But we got this. We got this done. That's good. Got to figure out about the ladder. You always forgetting about your semicolon, Arneo. Yeah, that's funny. Short's probably a good idea. Yeah, I think short's really good. If you can swing it. Please talk to you before I release the shorts. Sure. It's gonna be a while. I'll need to have a lot of animated or scripted content. Like little sequences that I can play out in the engine. But I think I'll want to tease that stuff out. There's a few things you need to tighten in terms of targeting to have it reach the right people. Yeah, that's something I'm not terribly looking forward to. All right, my coffee is dying. I think I've had enough coffee, though. All right, what else should we do? Should I try to think about the elevator a little bit? With the rollers. So what I'm thinking about is just having like a simple wheel structure. So we do like it doesn't really matter what colors I pick, just as long as it's in this kind of a pattern. Like you just do this and then you just flip it. Right? And this looks, in isolation, it doesn't look like anything, but if something's moving up and I'm doing this, it will look like something's spinning. That's probably what I'll do. Have little rollers. So that's 4 pixels, so I probably want, or that's 2 by 2, so I'll probably want a 4 pixel wide beam or something to come up. So I'll probably put that like here. Probably send that up into the ceiling. The only problem is the cutaway. So like at a certain point that just disappears and you just won't see it. You asked the Indie Game Clinic to look at your early prototype, and they were able to give you some really good pointers on targeting and finding the right niche for your game. Nice. Yeah, I'm running into a bit of an issue with that, but just in terms of the stream, because I'm having it's hard to justify Lo-Fi Flyby as an FTL-like. It's really an FTL-lite, but that's okay. That's just something important to keep in mind, because I'm really going for more of an idle game desktop companion kind of crowd with this. And so my only real fear is that Lo-Fi actually has a lot of, I'm afraid of the success of Lo-Fi Flyby kind of pigeonholing me into that genre. But I think it's okay. I think as long as I think carefully about the interaction and having a certain amount of agency, I think as long as I think about that correctly, it'll be okay. I think I can make it work. Well, yeah, I'm not so worried about finding the niche for the one game. What I'm worried about is creating a pair of games here that has enough overlap that I don't just lose my whole audience. And that's like a very forward-thinking concern, which really doesn't matter, because the immediate plan is to, the immediate concern is to just make a game. But I don't want to have the problem where I make this game and then the actual FTL-like is so alien to this that there's just no crossover with my existing audience. That's what I want to avoid. So I just need to make sure that there's enough I mean, the fact that they occur in the same universe and have the same presentation and all this stuff should help. But I'm just trying not to get... I'm trying to avoid the, like, butterscotch shenanigans problem where you end up making a different game, such a different game every time you make a game that, like, you have to find your audience again from scratch every time. LSG, their advice, the Indie Game Clinic advice. The IGC advice to LSG was, you should avoid the word anomaly when you market your game because it's more of an interactive fiction operator simulator than it is a spot the difference observation duty type thing. Yeah, and that's something I want to look at because Steam actually changed a bunch of their tags recently, and they introduced tags for things like, I don't remember now, but there were some tags that I think should have been applied to some of the games that are inspiration for this game. And I'll be interested to go back and look at some games that are already out and see if they've adopted these tags or not. All right, I think I'm pretty happy with the... catwalk here. I think figuring out the elevator... I know I said this already, but I think figuring out the elevator shaft is going to be the main issue. But yeah, I think I'll have just some I-beam kind of things on the side, and then I'll just have rollers that go up and down with the lift itself. And we'll decide how tall the lift should be or whatever. And we'll have some kind of accordion doors that open or close. Maybe we'll work on that tomorrow. Maybe that's tomorrow's task, is to figure out the lift situation. My only other question is whether I should put some beams out. No, I'm just going to have it held up by the elevator shaft. That would be the strongest point anyway. We're going to have to start working on some mechanism stuff. Like, we're going to need to put an engine block back here. And we need to put some kind of steering column thing up here, including windows. I need some windows. We need to figure out where the windows are going to be. I could probably mark that out, actually. Where the windows are going to be. Probably be cutouts here. I may or may not do some windows on the side here, on the sides. Probably would be not a good idea, but we'll see. Probably be better to just do one set here. Probably would want to align it with the cutaway to an extent. See you, Jacob. Go lie down, yeah. Yeah, tagging is tough. Ezra, even after locking down a lot of the game mechanics and flow down, you just did another one-pager for player experience goals for the demo, and yeah, still a lot to be done. I think it might be worth doing that, probably. Huh. Yeah, I haven't done a lot of that. Oh, also, thank you, Sly, for the follow. Really appreciate you. Hope you're having a fine Thursday here. Thank you, and Old Dome, for breaking our follower goal of 750. Feels like a lot. Feels like a lot of people since we started doing this a couple of years ago. Yeah, I want some kind of accordion little gates that can open and close as part of the catwalk. I'll have to decide how those will look. All right, I feel happy with our progress here. There's plenty more we can do. Soon. Everyone's having a fine day. All right, we got raided into by Jotson earlier. So I feel like I have to raid out here. Trying to figure out who I want to raid to. Hypnotic's always an option. Connie is streaming. There's someone I've never met here before. Fire, oh, they're doing some really cool Ace Sprite stuff. And they're doing it in Godot. And they've been going for a long time. Yeah, but it looks they're doing some really cool Ace Sprite stuff. Maybe that would be a good place to go. Fire, this is in English? It is. This could be fun. Yeah, let's set that up. Try to do someone new. Good stream. Yeah, it was a good stream. We got some good stuff done. Sorry, I'm not going, the max here. I'm still kind of getting better from this. From a little light post-jam illness, Not done with your tutorial? Well, you can go hang out with us in Fyra's channel. Really hope they don't end. They're doing some really cool animation that I'm really interested to see. But yeah, appreciate you all. Yeah, always take care of yourself. If there's a choice between taking care of yourself and streaming, take care of yourself. Like, I'm not gonna do much else. I gotta do the rest of my work for the day, back at the day job. Gotta do my day job, gotta do some laundry. But tonight, I think it's gonna be all Subnautica all the time. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Yeah, we'll raid out here in just a second. So Ship them if you got them. I'll see you all next time. Bye.